Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hi, Rangers. It's me, Jackie Kashian. Welcome to the Dork Forest. It's 2024. Let's do this. Here's the credits, of course. Mike Ruekberg sang that song at the beginning, and he wrote that song, and he sang it with Sarah Cohen, his wife, and he will sing the Mexican hat dance at the end of the program. Also, Patrick Brady, still putting this together. Video, audio, all of it. He's amazing. So, and Vilmos doing JackieKashianStore.com. Squarespace is doing the regular Jackie Kashian page, and I'm thinking of moving the Dork Forest and dorkforest.com away from WordPress because it's driving me nuts. But those are the credits. But if you go to JackieKashian.com, you can get Dork Forest merch. You can get my stand-up merch. You can get my stand-up CDs and DVDs, which you'd have to have devices for those. You can also see videos and find out any number of things. I have another podcast called The Jackie and Laurie Show, but the Dork Forest is the flagship. 18th year. We're doing it, you guys. You can go to my Bandcamp or my YouTube for extra content. Please donate, is what I'm saying. It's 2024, and I think we've been in this long enough. Why don't you guys, everybody send me $100? That's what I'd like you to do. You can PayPal me. There's links all over the pages. You can Venmo me at Jackie Kashian. You can find me at a stand-up show and hand me a sweaty wad of 20s. Do something. But I love doing the show. I would love to make some money, is what I'd like to do. In other news, I'm sure there's more things that I should talk about, but I can't think of them. But let's listen to who's going to dork out about something, because that's my favorite part. Thanks for listening, you guys. You're all great. Let's get into the show.
You just healed something for me.
Okay, we're doing it. It's hello, Rangers. Welcome to the Dork Forest. I have with me Nancy Norton, and we're going to talk about, she has a podcast called Tromedy. Nancy Norton is a great comic who's from the Denver area, the Colorado comedy scene, shall we say. NancyNorton.tv is her website. At Tromedy is her podcast, because she does a drama comedy podcast, and usually I don't want to talk to people about what they do, which is you have a podcast about trauma and comedy. But I am kind of fascinated by the idea that you're leaning in.
I am leaning it. Yeah, I'm on a healing journey, as we say.
All right, leaning journey. But we are also doing this on Zoom, which we usually do it on Riverside. So I'm sorry, Patrick. But you're a genius, so it'll all work out.
Yes,
but
Patrick.
The first trauma of our day was the half an hour of us trying to get Riverside to work, but for some reason it would not.
And it really was kind of triggering for me anyway, because I mean, trauma, a lot of the feeling of powerlessness is when we get into that kind of PTSD energy, it's the powerlessness. Like I could not fix it. I couldn't fix it. I even called in my son. My dork in the basement.
Right. Your caricature of a basement dwelling young man. And he seemed like a nice young man.
I wish he
is real.
He's got a beard and he's rather short. And and
he was like, yeah, we're going to go to settings, Mom. Yeah, no, scroll all the way to the bottom. Good. All the way. You got this.
He has to be my eyes a lot of times, not just because I'm old and have cataracts and a crazy lazy eye, which is from a trauma we don't have to go into, or we could, but also because I can't read under pressure. I go into my dyslexia exacerbates when I'm anxious, and the letters.
You seem like an incredibly well-functioning mess.
You know what?
There's a lot of things going on.
I'm hearing a lot of artifact, and Patrick's going to kill us. I don't know
What's that mean? What's artifact?
Well, your microphone was going. But do you want to make?
Was there crackling rose?
Crackling, yeah.
Oh no, he would hate that.
Oh yeah, he'll be upset. I edit my own podcast, and I get mad at myself when I don't.
I tried to edit my own podcast, and Patrick was a fan, and he emailed me and said, "Can I fix whatever's happening?" How about now? Is it crackling?
Now it's crisp. Yeah, now it's good. No.
You know why? It's me moving the damn mic. I should use the mic stand, but I don't. So that is where the error is occurring. So I will be very still.
I
And the
know that's hard,
microphone.
isn't it, to hold your hand still? And also, I don't know about you, but I am a fifth generation nurse. I know that's not what you are, but I'm just saying, and before that, we were called witches.
What?
Yeah.
A fifth generation nurse?
Yes. And before
Your
that,
family has done nursing for 5? You can go back 5? Were they all ladies? Is
they
your
were
mom,
all
your
they
grandma,
were
your
all
great grandma?
female, yes. And it's not that unusual because really those were the choices before 1960, to either nurse or teacher are your options or parent,
Or
but
witch before
I was gonna say,
1860?
but yeah, that we were called
Yeah.
witches before that. And this is a kind of a, I don't know if you've ever had this, but I can drain microphone batteries with my hands. Also, I can take the pain. I can take pain out of your back, but I can also like literally, I don't know what it is, but I my watches will stop working. And I have talked to other kind of, I'm gonna get a little woo-woo here, but
Groovies?
other
Little groovers?
yeah, other
Yeah.
intuitives that like, so maybe you have some special healing powers with that microphone. Clickety clacketing.
Sure. I also have some powers of fuckity uppitous when I move it. So I'm gonna try not to move it.
I love the
uh,
powers of fuckity uppitous.
I am not a gazelle. I'm working on a new bed because I'm doing the new album in Portland in November 8th. And yeah, the only prerequisite was that there be a National Guard that had been deployed against the will of the local citizenry.
Yes.
So
Yes. All your
was
dreams have come true.
right. I thought by November it could have been anywhere, but no, we just got a couple of places, and but we're
Yeah.
gonna go and why is there barking? One of my dogs. I have a couple of small dogs, and one of them sometimes gets trapped outside, then gets real mad that
So we
I
need to,
won't help him. So
uh-oh.
I am going to go help him, even
Go help
though
him.
he
Yeah.
is. Why don't you tell a story that I'm not going to hear? And that'll be great. It'll give you a minute to bond with the Rangers of the Dork Forest, Nancy Norton. I'll be
Okay.
right back.
Okay. Or Patrick can cut this out. I don't know. But hi, I'm Nancy Norton. I live in Boulder, Colorado. I met Jackie in the 90s, you guys. I was working a club in Minneapolis where I met Jackie at the Acme Comedy Club, one of the best clubs in the country. And I wanted to tell Jackie this. I may repeat myself when she comes back, but I love that club. And I had not been there since 1999 because of parenting responsibilities. Anyway, I happened to be in the area doing a keynote for, you know, trauma stuff for nurses, and I went into Acme. So when Jackie gets back, I'll finish the story. But yeah, I was just saying that I just went into Acme Comedy Club last week.
You were
And
at the my home
yeah,
club, Acme
yeah,
Comedy Club.
yeah, that's where we met. So I was just saying where we met, and I was telling it in a rather long, drawn out way so you'd get back. But I loved you right away. Back then, I got to say, so I just saw Lewis. I was just there. I was in Duluth doing a conference for nurses, like I do, the power of humor presentations, taking your pain and play with it.
Oh my God, that could be a cash cow if you play it right.
It really is. I mean, I am making more money than I've ever made because, and I am a single parent, and I really do have a 21-year-old living at home going to community college. So kids,
Right,
uh,
right.
right. So I'm grateful for this keynote opportunity that I present, especially for healthcare workers who've experienced a lot of vicarious trauma. So I was in Duluth for the first time. I asked them to put me up at Minneapolis airport the second night. And I was able to go into Acme and see Lewis, and I hadn't been there since 1999. But when I saw you back in the 90s, Jackie, this I will never forget. You're like talking about Civil War reenactments, and you go, I do Vietnam War reenactments, and then you kneel down on the stage, and I'm that guy. Like I can't explain. Do you remember doing that?
I don't remember. Well, first of all, that I remember that joke. So,
Oh my gosh, your microphone is cutting
me.
out again. Okay, you're back.
I
You can't touch it. You cannot touch that microphone.
know it. I can't. I just got to do the thing.
So say
So
it again. I mean, you got to back up and say it again because it really went away.
that's fine. I'm just saying. But
I It's still fucked up. Can you?
You guys, Nancy Norton doesn't want to be a guest on the Dork Forest.
I guess that's what it is. Is that the only microphone? Oh,
This microphone has not been a problem.
no,
So
it's the witch.
you are yeah. It's the witch
I'm
in
telling you, I gotta reverse the hex or something. Now
Mhm.
it's good. See, now it's good.
We'll give it a shot. We'll give
We're
it a
gonna
shot.
try one more time. Okay.
And
You
yeah,
gotta look up if
So,
Mercury's in retrograde. Okay.
Mercury almost always is in retrograde, I'm told. It's almost always in retrograde. So if you were looking for a reason why something wasn't working, you could look at the planet of Mercury and go, I blame it on you. And the planet of Mercury is a planet, so it doesn't have anything to say back. This planet is desperately trying to kill us, and I am sympathetic but not supportive. So Nancy Norton is a great comic and clearly a nurse. 5 generations of nursing. So do you think the trauma is just cumulative?
Actually, I do think there's generational trauma that is cumulative.
Some people get generational wealth.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
nope.
Can I use
Generational
that?
trauma.
Would you sell me that joke? You
You
know,
may have that joke as a
some people
gift.
get generational wealth. Oh my God, that is so funny. It's so true though. And not
Mhm.
that they are mutually exclusive. You can get both. I mean, you definitely can.
Sure. Are you
And
kidding me?
I would say
Uh,
that people,
RFK Jr., by definition, that guy is both generationally wealthy and a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, dude.
oh, for sure. And one of the most frustrating, I wanted to say characters, but he's not a character. He's in a position of power, and it scares me as a nurse, as someone who has seen
As a
vaccines.
nurse, as a human being who knows science.
Yes.
Because you even know I have a degree in political science, but that doesn't make me qualified to do jack scientifically. I can opine about Indonesia and about how clearly the Trump boys are making a side deal. Did you see that in the news today? That was
No,
out
I
of,
didn't see any news today. I've been working on tech.
you know what? You've chosen wisely. I just read an article. That's all. I refuse to watch the news. I will only read the news because it's easier to see the lies, and I don't want to hear their voices.
Oh,
So there you go.
yeah, because gaslighting is a trigger for me. Is it a trigger for you for people to lie to your face like that? Like it triggers me. It actually
It does. Well, maybe it would if I let it, but I genuinely have not watched any news or listened to any speeches since Bill Clinton. I only read the news, and I appreciate Pony Express news 2 weeks late with a lot of analysis.
Oh,
Because I feel like I can't fix anything that's happening on the broad scale of things. Palestine, the Sudan, other genocides and horrible things, even Israel and Netanyahu and even Trump. I can't fix these things. So all I can do, I want to stay informed, but I just have to help the people in front of me.
Yeah.
And hope it ripples out from there. I will go to protests. I will donate money. But yeah.
Well, 7 things. One, I want to say it's wonderful that you're reading the news because it's going through a different processor than the
Yeah.
emotional part of you that could get really triggered. Especially when you're reading, it's a higher function, so you stay in your prefrontal cortex rather than getting into that reptilian midbrain getting triggered.
There you go.
I just want to share that. And then the other bigger thing is that you have no idea. I'm sure you don't, because I didn't know it as a comedian what we are doing for people right in front of us. A lot of us got into comedy. I'll just say I did. I needed attention from strangers, right? I'm not I'm needy. I was needy. I'm not from a huge family, but I'm not the 9th of 11, but as I say, I'm the 4th of 3 that were wanted. And it's my little jokey joke, but it feels really true. And so I got into it for my own needs, but then I started reading these articles about what humor does for us, and I started thinking, oh my gosh, I'm still in the healing profession. I thought I was just being selfish doing comedy, but now I know I'm giving back to people.
No. You're an
helping
essential
people.
worker on every level. You're like, I genuinely think stand-up comics right now are essential workers. And you can either be a shitty essential worker, like the cops that are essentially helping ICE to rape and murder and kidnap people and enslave them, or you can be a good essential worker and, essentially
Raising the
most of my-
frequency. what
Raise
we're
the
do- yeah, we're raising the frequency. We're also giving people a little like emotional distance and playing. Like the whole motto of my podcast is take your pain and play with it. And it gives you a sense of empowerment over it or a little more perspective and a resource. And I mean, you don't know. And then also just coming together, like people that come to see Jackie Cation, you know, they know they're like, I know I'm going to be around like minds. I don't have a
Yeah.
job. People don't know me. I love it because I get to talk to unsuspecting people when they come see a dance. They're like,
Oh,
we don't know
so
what
do I.
you're
So do I.
well, you occasionally get the
I'm a
surprise.
well-kept secret in show business. Most of the people in the business have heard of me. Not all of them, and certainly not anyone with a giant bag of money. But outside, like I open for Maria regularly,
Yeah.
and at least a third of the audience who talks to me says, "I've never heard of you. It's very lovely to meet you." And I'm like, "Oh, good."
Then you get to surprise the heck out of them. I love that you're coming to Boulder soon in November at some point
Mhm.
with Maria. I
Yeah.
don't know the date, but people.
I believe it's after I do the new album. So,
Oh,
yeah, but it won't drop. The new album won't drop, I don't think, until January. So I
all right.
like it to drop within a month. I don't know. I don't know how you are with albums, but I'm like, it's done. I will listen to it and tell you how to edit it, and then you will put it together. I already have the art. But there's also going to be a video part to it, and that always takes a little bit longer. So whatever.
I haven't dropped an album in quite some time. I need
Oh,
to. I have some
how
new
many
things.
albums?
Well, really, there are two that are. There's just one that's out there right now, and it is called Fourth of Three is the name of the album. And the other one was called Easy Bake Comedy, and I'm still doing Easy Bake Oven material. It just keeps growing. It is kind of my signature piece, I would say. Dance in the Easy Bake Oven. I don't know. I love talking about the Easy Bake Oven. I can't stop. It's my
Yeah, okay.
trauma. I use a lot. I use it as a vehicle to talk about my trauma. That's okay. Is she okay?
Tyson,
I mean,
he's an idiot.
I don't,
I love him dearly, but
I don't,
nobody cares, is what I like to tell him. Thank you very much for alerting me that a truck is about to go by, but it's not an issue. This
he
this
might have a
episode
little
of the Dork
PTSD.
Forest promises to go into many thousands of directions at once. So strap in, Rangers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ADHD is real, and I do that. I go
What
off.
do you have? Did you get tested for these things? Because do you have health insurance because you're a nurse? Do you get health insurance?
No, I haven't. I do have health insurance. Actually, Jackie, I just turned 65. So I'm on Medicare.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I won the
Not
lottery.
Advantage.
Shit. No, I didn't do the Advantage plan.
Thank God,
I
because
have a
it's
good
not a good
broker.
one.
I got a good
Yeah,
broker. But
good.
it's like hitting the lottery, and it's ironic at 65, which I'm still in denial of. I feel like a 14-year-old boy, but I look in the mirror and like there's grandma. So that's how I found out I was non-binary. Anyway, folks, but seriously, it's I've always had to buy my own insurance because I've been self-employed for since 1991. Even though I've
Okay.
got in and out of nursing, I did it as a contract nurse. So
Ah,
I haven't worked as a nurse since 2016 again. So I've just been doing comedy full time for the last
that's
10.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And able to provide for my family, which because I do a lot of corporate and I do a lot of these conferences, keynotes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But I still love doing the clubs. I still love it. Uh,
yeah, that's
and
awesome.
I love every time you guys come through, you and Maria, or just you. You're going to headline. I saw you're going to be at Comedy Works, I think in
Right, I think it's
February.
February, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah, I'm doing Boulder with Maria, and then I'm gonna do and I'll be able to plug the February dates for the Colorado people. So hopefully they'll come and see me
Oh yeah,
in February. Yeah.
you're a Comedy Works favorite every time.
Yeah, it's
We all fight to
Denver.
get sets. We're like, I want because it's a showcase club, so the locals are like,
Yep, yep.
we
And
all want to work with you.
I bring a feature with me sometimes, but I like the comedy scene in Denver so much that I like to see the locals. So it's really cool to work with several different local comics and get to meet people. And Wendy mixes it up. It's nice.
Yeah, and I know, and it keeps you on your toes a little bit because we have a lot of great comics here who are
Yeah.
national headliners themselves, and so but also
Right. So if they're doing 15 in front of you, they've got all the local references and they're really good comics to begin with. And you're
yeah,
like, follow that. And you're like, yes, please
and
allow me to.
and you do.
Super fun.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's more fun to follow good than bad. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And the scene here is amazing. I've been in this scene. I've been a regular at Comedy Works since 1991. And I chose it. In fact, I almost moved to Minneapolis because I was in Hawaii when I started, and it was a weird place to do comedy, but I was the house MC for the Honolulu Comedy Club. And then I left to just find a home to do comedy. And I drove around the country and I looked at San Francisco, Minneapolis, and Denver were my three favorites. But
Oh,
Denver,
wow.
something about Denver, they were clapping me on the back and they were like, "Who's doing that?" Like I was doing some unique stuff that made me feel good. And they were kind of the bad boys of comedy too. So you could be a little, nurses love dark humor. So they were rewarding
Oh,
that. And
yes.
I found my home, I love it here. I love Colorado.
How long have you been doing the pod, the Tromedy?
3 years now, or almost three. Yeah,
Okay.
my third season, I guess you'd say. So it's not quite
So
3 years.
what do you try to like unpack other people's trauma and make them think it's funny?
Well, the first idea was to do that, was to take quote unquote lay people and like, are you ready to take a trauma and play with it? My first guest survived a serial killer. Heather is a friend of mine. I know that's intense, right? That's a big trauma. Not a
Yeah.
parking ticket,
No, that's not some sort of I asked for vanilla and they gave me vanilla bean or whatever.
which we don't want to minimize that if that has traumatized you, because trauma is very nuanced.
Sure.
You can
No,
get
no,
PTSD.
everybody's pain is real, but
Yeah.
even somebody who has like whenever I hear about anybody else's childhood, I just saw Cristela Alonso was doing an interview and her mom was undocumented. So when the Border Patrol, when INS is what it used to be called before it was ICE, before they decided to do a supervillain acronym, the INS was already fared enough, but it was
Yeah.
a service instead of an enforcement. So, but when the
Instead of a
INS,
power trip. Yeah.
yeah, so when they would come, when she was like 5 or 6 years old, her job as a 5 or 6 year old was to have a temper tantrum and run away so that her mother had to run after her to get her out of the vicinity of the border patrol people.
Yeah.
And she remembers as a little kid going, I better get this temper tantrum right or they're going to take my mother away. And the
Oh God.
pressure to get
Yeah.
the temper tantrum right.
Yeah. That's way beyond what I made my son do to fly for free on United. I used to make him act like a baby. And I would say, I know this is my trauma. I get that this is my way of like, yeah, that is so heavy. Now, listen to my funny thing about taking my by the way, I have a beautiful brown child who will not go to Denver right now because of ICE. He is an immigrant. He is a US citizen adopted from Nepal and will not like he's dating women. He'll like, I'll take you anywhere but Denver, because he doesn't go into Denver seriously. But
Yeah.
when he was a little kid, he was so petite. He's from Nepal and I had paid for a seat for him and they go, "Is that a lap baby?" And I said, "Well, next time he will be." And she goes, "Oh yeah, just say he's a lap baby." And so I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'm going to save $400." So I'm carrying him on and I'm telling him, 'cause he
And
was a
he's
very,
6.
yeah, he was like 2, over 2, but he was between 2 and 3, but he was very precocious, very smart. He could talk, and I said, "Listen," I go, "You are a baby. Okay, what does that mean you're a baby?" I go, "Goo goo gaga. Practice."
You are
I
a
made him
baby.
I made him practice goo goo gaga. So literally, we got on the plane. I'm holding him. She goes, "Would the baby like some juice?" And he looked at her and goes, "I'm not a baby." And I was like, "I'm busted. We're all going to jail." But anyway, we got away with it. Not quite as serious as your friend, but yes, some heavy stuff is going on in the world, and it's
Mhm.
and yet that doesn't mean like your trauma doesn't count. If you
Right,
have
and
to
it doesn't mean
or
you shouldn't laugh.
yeah, it doesn't mean you shouldn't have yeah. In fact, that is your superpower. Like anytime, if you can take a little, it's counterintuitive, but if you can take a little humor break, it signals your body the threat has passed. It actually boosts your immunity. I'm doing my TED talk now, but I'm just saying
Right.
this is my humor talk. Like it really does raise your NK cells, your natural killer cells when you laugh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can
Now
you
there's a
hear an
jet.
airplane behind me?
Totally.
Probably.
Pause for
Yeah.
plane.
You
It's
gotta
one of those
love.
days, huh?
It's
We're
one of those days. This episode, it's a glorious episode. We're not going to lie to you. We've already learned so much, but there there will be a variety of technical difficulties that you
Patrick.
will that Patrick Brady will be like, oh, okay, I will fix that. And then, by the way, that is my impression. Andy says that is my impression of every man. I'm like, what do you want me to do? All right, and okay.
So, funny enough, and I will say I do identify as a she, they, female sex. I have unsubscribed from gender. But one other way I
Is that a term? Because I love that. I've
yeah,
unsubscribed.
I
I would
ticked
like to be
that box.
treated like a straight white man, please, and paid accordingly. Yes.
I realized on stage one time when I do an impression of a man, I lower my voice. And when I do an impression of a woman, I raise my voice. And I was like, oh, that means I'm not identifying as either one. It just hit me like one day.
Right.
That's not, I don't know, gender roles. But anyway, NK cells, I really want to get that out there. Natural killer cells, they're scanning your body constantly for anomalies like viruses and cancer cells. And if you're under stress for too long, they get suppressed and you can get sick. So it's counterintuitive, folks, but please laugh. I'm telling the folks.
Yuck it up. Yuck it up. My entire hour, the new hour that I'm working on, is entirely about me dealing with rage.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I have had so many people come up to me after the show and go, it's genuinely cathartic to see someone be so angry and so funny about it. And I was like, oh, well, I appreciate that a great deal. Thank you very much. And, but it is also very cathartic for me to be angry and just in the right amount, in the right place, to the right extent, at the right time, you know?
And you have found this expression for your trauma. I just had a little epiphany that I want to add into my little talks here is that, yeah, there's vicarious trauma, but there's also vicarious expression.
Yeah.
Wow, I just got that. I got to write that. Well, I'll listen to this and remember.
Oh, wow.
Because really, when we
That's more
experience,
than I will do. I am totally writing things down.
yeah,
But
because
vicarious expression is real. I think so, for sure.
yeah, and that's what we do for people with our comedy, and also when they experience the laughter, it massages the whole brain. It's a beautiful gift.
I will say that two things. First of all, Maria Bamford has always said, people say laughter is the best medicine, but I will also say that medicine is the best medicine.
Yeah.
You really shouldn't put aside medicine just for laughter. So you knock yourself out, get yourself some meds.
Yeah. Tromedy is not a replacement for trauma therapy. It's not a replacement. But yes, I honestly do feel that, it does raise your serotonin. It does raise your dopamine. It does raise your endogenous morphine. It is a painkiller. But yeah, if you're in acute pain, get the morphine,
Yeah, don't turn down the meds, guys.
Yeah.
If it's and then the other thing I will say is that back in like probably 2000, I wrote a solo show that turned into a lot of stand up. And it was about my dad and my uncles and my brothers. And it was the way I processed how to sort of forgive my father for being kind of a dick.
Mhm.
And not even kind of. I can say kind of now, 25 years later. But
And
I was
that's where you are on your healing journey.
that's it. And but my one of my brothers and my sister saw the show and they were like, this has helped me like dad more. Because what I had to do was I had to find something to like about him, to
Yes.
make jokes about him. Just otherwise, I'm just literally making fun of this guy who did some things that were dumb, some things that were mean, some things that were reprehensible, and but he turns out he lived through all of them, and I just have the one father. So I have made peace with what I've made peace with, and I also don't accept the parts of him. Like when he says something button pushy,
Yeah.
or racist, or
You set a
mean,
boundary. You set a boundary.
I set a boundary. In this case, that boundary is manifested by the words, shut the fuck up, Dad. And then he does.
That's so cool that you can say that to your dad and he doesn't try to kill himself like my mother. Uh, No, this
My
really, this is
therapist
a true
actually
story.
said, "Yeah,
My
does he
mother,
stop?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "That's amazing." What does your mother do?
well, no, my mother. Okay, this is a big trauma. But first of all, I want to say about your dad. I love when you talk about your dad on stage. It comes off as very endearing. You know, like there's a part of you that you have him that you have embraced with the sales and the, you know,
Yeah,
the
I have learned how to really love my father and appreciate
yeah.
the good things about him. Yes.
Yeah, that is beautiful. And my dad was a salesman. And I really, when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, that's Bud Norton with my dad had, they always call it the flying V handshake, man. Here comes old Bud, like he
I
was
love
always,
that.
he was glad handed. He was always happy to make a friend and sell him some chemicals. So my dad was a chemical salesman. So you can
Okay.
blame my family for McKesson Chemical for Monsanto sent us to Disney World one year. So
Well, congratulations.
I apologize. But
Right.
my mother, on the other hand, okay, so my mother she has moved on, and I will say in part thanks to me because she did call me home to help euthanize with
Oh,
her.
okay.
So that was, that helped a little with the trauma that she gave me this honor of being there,
Okay.
trusted me to be the nurse, even though I did make a med error in the end of her life. But
Oh, shoot.
I don't like suffering and I didn't want her to suffer and I did love her. But that woman, I'm so glad to be out from under her thumb. And the only reason I can do Tromedy and the only reason it finally started, because it had been percolating for a decade, was because I had to wait for her to die. I had to wait to I can't speak my truth if my mother was alive because she would kill herself and I can't be responsible for that.
For
So
reals.
for
For
real.
real.
No, here's what happened. This is true. When I was 33 or 4, I auditioned for Evening at the Improv and I was up with all these great comics from Denver who were frankly funnier than me, better than me. But for whatever reason, that was my night.
Boo. I
But
reject
just
that statement.
well,
Keep
this
going. You're great.
no, I
Keep
did.
going.
I'm just saying. I know where I am. What I do is channel whimsy, though. I do feel like I have a bit of I do channel some muses that help me. So
Please name your next album I Channel Whimsy or Whimsy Channeler.
yeah,
Anything. I just
because I
please.
do. I want to be like a little leprechaun. Okay, so anyway, blah blah blah. Listen, this is okay. So I auditioned for Butt. I watched all my friends going up, and it was like up in Vale on a Friday. And I don't know if you've ever played a ski town on a Friday, but they are tired. They are not a great audience, and they weren't. And I was like, well, I developed a fuck it attitude, and I was just like, just do your thing. And I started talking to Bud, which he has my dad's name, Bud Friedman. I'm like, there he is, like just judging me, leaning back in his lazy boy. And I riffed and I did my thing. And I wasn't going to come out as a lesbian, which I was lesbian identified. I have retired, but so, sorry, ladies, I've retired. I don't know if I'm full retired. I'm kind of a pansexual. It doesn't matter. I'm so old. I'm a barely sexual. It doesn't matter.
You'd
But
have to meet someone who made you care. Anyway, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
That's all. That's
So
all that is.
anyway,
It's just adulthood. You're doing great.
I did my little lesbian jokes, Hey, I was married for 11 years, very nice man, but he would not wear the Jodie Foster mask, blah blah blah. And Bud came up to me with that. Hey, he had the flying handshake, and he's like, "Hey, I want you to come to LA and tape the show." And I'm like, "Really?" And I was like, "Can I say lesbian on TV?" This was before Ellen and Rosie were out, so I was like, "Can I say
Yeah.
that?" I really didn't know. And he said, "Yeah, you can say lesbian, just don't say fuck," because I had apparently dropped several f bombs during my audition. So um, I told my mom, I got clear. I was like, wow, this is meant to be. I'm very spiritual. You have to know I live in Boulder, Colorado, and I meditated on the mountain about it. And the mountain told me there's a girl in Kansas about to kill herself, and you need to show her that lesbians are fun and just the girl next door.
Yeah.
So I decided, yes, I'm going to come out. I'm going to do it. I'm going to, help the girl in Kansas see she's not alone. And I told my mom. So I said, Mom, listen, I went to Springfield, Missouri, home, that's my home in the Ozarks. And I said, I need you to know something. I'm going to come out. I'm getting my TV debut. I'm excited. I was,
Hoping that she would be happy for you.
well, I kind of knew she wasn't going to be happy about that. But I said, you could have Bridge Club the night it airs so nobody sees it, because I know my mom. She doesn't want to I had come out to them, but my mother crossed her arms and legs when I came out to her, and she said, "If you think I think it's a sin, I don't. But if there's a choice, choose men." So that was pretty
And
progressive.
what year did you come out to her?
1992.
Oh my God. By 92, my sister came out in 1983.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every lesbian I knew was out by 92. There's like, and I know
Well,
hundreds of lesbians.
that was the year I came out to myself because I had been married for 11 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, well, I was very
You were hoping that your mom would be nice about it.
right. And she proceeded to try and talk me out of it. She was like, "Now, do you think Rosie or Ellen would have a career if they were out?" And I was like, "Mom, you're in the Ozarks. You know they're a lesbian. What does it matter?" Then
They have careers.
yeah, and they do.
Yeah.
I know. But at the time they weren't out. So she kept trying different things to get me to not come out. And then I said, "I'm doing this. You need to just accept it." And then she went into a rage and she goes, "You're going to be an embarrassment to this entire family." To which I responded with both fingers in her face, like both,
Good.
like in her face. I went,
Good.
"Fuck you."
That's it.
And she crumbled like a witch underwater. I'm telling you, this woman, she melted.
Underwater.
She melted into her lazy boy. And she picked up the phone like she was dying. And she called my dad. She goes, "You need to come home right now." And I'm like, okay, I'm in
So
big.
she used that as a weapon too.
Right. And then 2 days before the taping, she tried to kill herself. She and wrote me a letter, and mailed it. She took a handful of Ativan, drank a half bottle of vodka, and told me what a cruel daughter I was. And not just wrote it, but stamped it and mailed it. And I guess I was supposed to get it,
Before the taping?
Yeah.
But did the post office save you from this?
No, but I got a phone call from my sister-in-law, and she said, "Your mom tried to kill herself last night." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Anyway, thank God I had a good therapist because I still did the taping, but
That is what I wanted to hear, Nancy Norton, that you still did the taping.
I did do the taping, and it went so well. I mean, Marsha Warfield was the host. It was one of the highlights of my life. Nobody in my family ever watched it or told me they saw it, but I mean, the way she kind of went like this, like it was like, I don't know. I just felt like a boxer at the end of a match where she was like, "Look at this bitch coming out on TV." You know what I mean? Like
That's
what I
it.
felt like she was saying.
Yeah.
I don't know
Because
that she was
Marsha
saying that.
Warfield probably wasn't even out.
No, she wasn't. Nobody was.
Yeah.
And
Nobody was out. You
it
were fucking out.
But then I did not audition again forever. Like I'm like, I can't kill my mom. You know, I can't do that. So I just have been, having fun doing comedy. And now that she's gone, I can tell that story publicly and I don't give a shit who hears it because
Yeah.
she's dead.
Is your dad still alive?
No, he died. He died before her.
And your siblings?
My siblings are living and
They are nice? Or
they just don't really agree. They're like, "You shouldn't have said, F you to mom." And they're not, we kind of don't follow each other. We kind of get together. I know they're there in a crisis. Like I think we would give
Okay.
each other a kidney kind of thing. Maybe.
Oh, well, are you kidding me? I have 5 siblings. I expect no kidneys.
If you want.
So, my sister might give me one. My brother Phil, he smokes. His kidney's not going to be any better than mine. But
Hopefully you don't need a kidney, but if you do, they have, they have showed up for me in crisis before. Like when I
yes.
went through a divorce with a sociopath, they came here and they supported me and so I'm
Oh,
grateful.
good. I'm glad that you
for them.
have them then.
But I
Yeah.
know they don't really like me talking about my mom, but then again, that's my story to tell. I'm going to tell it. You know what I mean?
I get that. I get that a little bit. I know it would be every single member of my family except my stepmother has said to me at some point, I don't really like stand-up comedy. And then the joke is that, well, I don't really like money laundering or whatever it is you do for a living.
Yeah.
And, but when people say they don't like stand-up comedy, some guy was telling me that yesterday, day before yesterday, I was at a party and he said, I just watched a bunch of your stuff. I really like you, and I don't really like stand-up comedy. And I said, I think what you don't like is a lot of aggressive, like super aggro, punching down,
Yeah.
mean comedy. I
Yeah.
mean, because stand-up comedy is so different from person to person. Like what do you want? Wiggly, shouty,
Yeah.
silly comedy, but my favorite is silly, smart comedy,
Yes.
and a little bit of physicality. And I am not that, but I aspire. So
Well, yours is beyond silly smart. Like I like to think I do silly smart, but I'm not well read. And you are well read. Like I mean, I have knowledge. I'm an oral learner, but I'm not like I'm not. I don't feel smart enough to do political stuff as much. And because I'm like, oh God, is
I've
Mike Johnson
never ever
Speaker
wanted
of
to
the
do.
House or he the but you kind of do you do more.
I
I think
do
you do.
socio-political
Yeah,
commentary
yeah.
because I can't put names to anybody anyway.
Okay.
I have that I have the thing I have that's undiagnosed, but I'm sure I've got it, you guys, is that face thing, that facism.
What's that? I don't know
That's
that.
where I can't recognize anybody.
Oh, I have issues with that sometimes too.
No, I have, but I genuinely, it's probably more likely that there are 600 slots in my brain,
Yeah.
and I'm full.
Yeah.
So
That's part of it.
unless I see you daily, I'm not, and I don't know what, like
Well,
Dave Amiot, great guy. He's in there. I haven't seen him in 6 years. I don't know why he's got a slot.
there's certain
So
people
yeah,
that make a mark, or they either hurt you a lot or they made you feel really good and inspired. But if it's sort of meh, it's like and I tell people, listen, and I feel so bad because you know what, the way we go through clubs sometimes it's 8 months or 9 months or a year and a half has gone by.
yeah,
And
yeah,
we have to start over with the name thing. And I wish they had name tags or something, or there was a chart.
for sure.
But I'm like, if I don't see you, I have to see you. First of all, I have to meet you 8 times, and it has to
Right.
happen
What's the
within
name
it.
of the woman who's always the green room at Comedy South? The waitress. Can you remember her name?
Oh, wait.
Because
Okay.
she's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
super, super nice.
Yes, I know her name. And this is my age now. I see her face perfect. Tanya. Tanya.
That sounds right. That sounds
Tanya.
exactly right. What a
Blonde.
nice woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, she's
She
a
kind of
pro.
looks like me.
Oh, and she's a total pro. And she
She's a
used to
pro.
be at another comedy club before back in the day when there was Wits End here. Yeah, Tanya is a
Oh my
total
God, Wits
pro.
Ed.
Yes. There's some Wits End stories we could tell. Oh
There's
God.
some trauma. Would you like
Yes.
some trauma?
Yes.
Is Wits End. The I got in. It was Wits End, and I got into his weird club and the Gary Bynum weird club in Tucson
Dude.
and the Russ Rivas weird club in
Oh,
Albuquerque.
oh, that's
And Russ
awful.
Rivas, I can only pray to God he rots in hell. It's he's such a douche nozzle. I can't even talk about
Yeah.
Russ Rivas actually.
No, yeah. All the red flags go off. And yeah, that you're I have sociopath abuse or whatever. My sociopath abuse meter goes off. Like people who have a complete lack of empathy and a lack of insight and really into misogyny, I just like
Right.
you can see them and feel it, and it's just like, especially like there's no place for me in his psyche whatsoever. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I do not
Right.
exist in his world. And you're right, those rooms you named, all of them can create sweaty palms.
Because there's two kinds of bad guys in stand-up comedy club ownership. There's bad guys who want power over something, and so they are sort of super manipulative and mean. And then there are businessy guys that just should have bought a chain of liquor stores.
Yes, they no clue about
Right. They don't care about
artistry.
stand-up at all.
Oh,
And the other ones are kind of harder to work because you have to sit in a room with them oftentimes and listen to creepy jokes and comments.
and then they pay you like this so they can lecture you one bill at a time. They're like, here's what, let me tell you about comedy. They
Let
give
me
you
tell
advice.
you about comedy.
Oh, let me
Yes.
give you a little pointer here. And then
Mm.
you're like, you are captive. You cannot, you
Right.
have got
Because I would like the other three bills that you're holding on to so
just like
slowly.
you're just and and this, let's go back to the PTSD response because there's fight, there's freeze, there's there's let's see, fight, freeze, fawn.
What? I thought it was just flight and fight.
No, there's flight. That's right. Flight, freeze, fight, fawn, flop. So there's 5 F's now. I don't know why
What's
they
the
have to be.
fawning? What's the
Fawning
flopping?
is what you do when the owner is paying you. And you're at their mercy. You need that money. They have something. You're dependent on them. You have to act nice. You have to fawn and you have to go and you have to nod and go, that I'd never thought of that before. Thank you for that tip on comedy. Wait a minute. What's it called? A callback?
Yeah.
I'm going to try doing
Wow.
more of those. So
There was
fawning.
clubs that would try to tag your bits, and you're just like, no, I'll take it under advisement.
I'll always take a tag. Hey, but here's the embarrassing thing about me.
I won't use it, but I will listen to it. Yes.
But if what? Here's the thing. Oh, Nance, because I am a survivor and I hate to admit that I can work a strip mall club. I hate to admit that I am that versatile, that I will like lower my level of consciousness to make this, you know what I mean? Or I will do more song parodies or whatever it is that works in that room. I hate to say it. This is
Why?
the difference
Because
between
the thing is that's the thing about stand up is that we're raised to believe that we should be able to play any room. And
but this is my own cross to bear. I am a codependent. I have these skills, and this is why some people are on the path to fame and some people aren't. And I am an entertainer, and I do like when I'm doing what I love to do, I'm at Downtown Comedy Works or Acme or somewhere like that where I can do what Nancy Norton really loves doing. But then there's a part of me that I'm a code switcher. I will switch codes and I will do strip mall comedy. I have to admit it. I did, and I learned it.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with that because I mean the thing is you're doing the job.
I know,
right?
but it's but people that see me, they're like, who is Nancy Norton? If she doesn't even know herself sometimes. I'm just getting to know that myself, actually. I am in recovery as a codependent, and I am just learning to know who am I really? If not pleasing my mother or pleasing some, obviously I didn't end up pleasing her. But I mean, I still did. I pleased her because I did go on the down low and I did.
Yeah.
Ultimately, she won that fight. But what I was going to say is, Tig Notaro. I would not know Tig if not for the Wits End Comedy Club because there's a cartoon out there and I'll send you a link to it because it is hilarious. She did a little animation about Wits End.
Yeah.
Where this is where we bonded. I was featuring, I can't remember who's headlining. Tig was her first paid gig at Wits End.
Wits End?
Yes. She was just starting comedy.
Frozen taquitos from Costco. And the thing is remember, Tig Notaro took that gig. And if there's any bigger definition of strip mall comedy, it's Wits fucking End.
That's right.
Because that club owner was a guy who's like, no, I wouldn't, you're a little too smart for the room, Kashian. I had a guy
you are too smart for that room. Yeah.
I'm not too smart for the room.
Yes, you were. You were for his room because that's the kind of crowd.
I killed in that room because I just simplified the jokes a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, here's the thing I just want to say. So Tig, all right, that's her first, and I remember seeing her and I remember going, God dang, this woman has more stage presence than I will ever have. Like the way she owns her space.
It's pretty great.
And commits to her bits. And like what you see is what you get. If you go see Tig, you're going to see Tig. So anyway, right out of the gate, she was like that. She's just who she is. So I drive into the parking lot. It's snowing on a Saturday night with my ADHD running late as usual, 5 till 8. She's leaving. And I'm like, Tig, where are you going? Do you need a tampon? I'm thinking, she must be needing something. I have tampons in my trunk because I'm codependent. I got stuff. I got a medic kit back here. So I go, Tig, going. She goes, and she said with her deadpan, she goes, oh, I was fired. And I go, okay, that's a good one. But really, do you need something? What do you need? And she said, no, I was fired. And I'm like, no, you were not fired. And I could not believe my gut was like, oh my God, they fired one of the best comedians I've seen. And anyway, so there's a whole cartoon she made about this trauma of her first paid gig getting fired. And we bonded over it because I mean, she needed to process that because as much as she is strong, that's her first gig. And it's like, dude, you have to know.
It doesn't matter how strong you are. Yeah. So I'm telling her, like,
just be glad you don't play in a strip mall. Like
Just be glad that this guy at Wits End doesn't get you.
yeah, exactly
And
what I said. Be glad
yeah,
to get you. So I'll send you a link to that cartoon. It's on YouTube. It's funny.
okay. Yeah, that's
It's a little traumedy. Yeah.
it's a little dramedy. I the only time that my time was ever cut, I was supposed to do 20s, and it was in Atlantic City, and JJ Walker was MC. He was the headliner, but he was MCing so that he could ruin the show right from the beginning. And then this guy was featuring who was it was all crowd work. And so I was supposed to do 20 minutes, and it was probably 14 shows, right? So it was probably less than that actually, but it was a lot. It was probably 5 days, so 2 shows a night, 10 shows. So I'm like 6 shows in, and the manager changes, and I get a new manager comes in and he says, "Hey, I just got word that we're cutting you down to 15 instead of 10." And I had never had my time cut before, ever. And I was like, "What's happening?" And in my opinion, honestly, I was the only one doing stand-up comedy at that club.
Yeah.
And I called my agent and I said, "Hey, just so you know, they cut my time because they said that I'm not really getting the audience." And then I called my friend Karen Rotowski, who played that club probably 4 or 5 times a year. And she said, "I should have told you, they're idiots. You have to do in 20 minutes, you have to do 40 minutes of material, and you have to open with a lot of swearing." And so for the rest of the weekend, I did 30 minutes of material in 15, and I killed.
Oh, there you go.
And
And that's nice to know a friend that goes, "Hey, this is Vegas, all right? Comedy, these are people that are coming here that have not seen the White Tiger." I don't know if it was in Vegas, but Vegas is also another place where
right. It's a lot like that. It was it was Atlantic City, and it was dumb. But it was and it was the only time I ever played it. And the only good thing about the entire town was they're doing a really good job with sandwiches. They got a cold cut game that is unparalleled. So good for them.
Yeah, good for them. I I don't eat cold cuts, but if I did,
Do you enjoy cheese and good bread?
no, I'm a vegan. I do mostly vegan, gluten free. So I'm a
Oh my
pain in
God.
the ass.
Yeah. There's absolutely no reason for you to go to Atlantic City.
There's not a
Yeah.
reason. No, I think I'll skip it. I don't think
Not in the
I don't think
world.
they want me there either. Yeah. It's interesting, trying to yeah, no, at this point, even like here I am, like I've already mentioned, I'm 65. I mean, I expect to keep working another 10 years. I do feel youthful. I will say that. I have a lot of energy. I still,
Sure.
out there and exercise a little bit and eat my vegetables. But I am old, like my skin is sliding off my skull. So I'm like, there's a part of me going, well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how long
Yeah.
I'll stay at it.
Well, but the thing is I mean, every new trauma can be a bit
Oh, and
if you can process it enough.
that's you talk to a comedian and you're right. And so you were asking way back when how I do this podcast. In the first guest, that was my first intention, was to help people take their pain, like do what comedians do naturally and show them how to do it. And then I felt like I got in over my head. Like Heather, survived a serial killer. We did find some jokes. I mean, you're not always right on the nose of the trauma, but her thing that she was dealing with, and this trauma happened in the 90s. So it was 20 years old that she had been attacked, and she had all these scars all over her upper body. So she doesn't like to go get a massage because she has to tell the story. So what the Tromedy we did with her was like, let's come up with a funny story, and then just tell them you can't ask any more questions. Like,
Right.
we did like, I was a table dancer at a hibachi restaurant.
Right.
And then
Right.
like,
Just try, but sometimes you can't, it's almost impossible for someone else to write those jokes for you.
well, and that's where we tried to do it together.
Mm-hmm.
Work the best. Like, does this one help or does this one help? Because she liked the one where it was an alien abduction. And so she could get behind that
Because it
one.
also shuts people down because
Yeah.
nobody's going to ask you.
Yeah. Follow-up
They're
question.
done talking to you.
Yeah. So and you're right. So it's kind of, and my dream was to do it live where we would have audience, we'd have like a panel, like you might be on, like comedians on a panel, and like, what jokes would you make about having scars all over your body? Like, and then ask the person, does this help? Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
but then, so what I ended up doing was working backwards and taking comedians, and this is where I would love to get you on the podcast, is like, tell me a bit that we may not know, or it might be obvious that there's trauma behind it. And then we deconstruct it. Like we do the bit and then we're like, but here's the real depth of it, you know? Like,
right. Get back into the sad. So you want to take the bit and deconstruct it back to the
But then we'll go back up. We always go back up.
How many episodes you got?
100 and something. All right. 100.
Rangers, check it out. It's called Tromedy, Tromedy, and it's nancynorton.tv. We're at an hour, by the way.
Oh, time flies when you're having fun. Thank you for visiting with me about trauma.
This was amazing. Yes,
and
this was outstanding.
Trauma dump.
This is, it's because I don't usually, it's an interesting way to talk about stand-up, the podcast. It sounds amazing. So thank you. And where can people at nancynorton.tv, is it got your schedule up there?
Yeah,
for anything that's public?
Yeah, we got some stuff. I'm doing just some local headline dates. I do mostly
Denver
conferences, but yeah, I'll be at Comedy Works. I don't know when this comes up. I'm at Comedy Works
next Tuesday,
November 2nd. I'll be at Comedy Works in Denver, Comedy Works South in Denver.
Yeah, October 14th. So,
wonderful.
Tomorrow. Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
I know I'm getting a little behind. I got to go. I'm in Madison this week. Everybody near Madison, Wisconsin, come and see me do stand up. See the new hour before I record in November, and then come and see me in Denver when I'm there. Yeah.
Yes. All my Denver peeps will be there.
All right.
Jackie,
thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
And Rangers, you know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
Yeah.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat, my hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?